specifically, all your investigators, they may well be conducting investigations of individuals that are not authorized by you.
Johnson has resigned as the head of IDEC. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
The Judicial Service Commission has unanimously resolved to advise President Cyril Ramaphosa to suspend Eastern Cape Judge President Selbie Mbenenge. This follows the JSC's finding of gross misconduct against Mbenenge over sexual harassment allegations against him, and comes as Parliament prepares to consider proceedings that could ultimately lead to his removal from office. Mbenenge's secretary Andiswa Mengo lodged the complaint, alleging that the judge engaged her in unwanted sexualized communications between 2021 and 2022. The Commission says the move is aimed at protecting the integrity and credibility of the judiciary while the constitutional process unfolds. Annalita Fandese has more.
The Judicial Service Commission says the suspension is not intended as punishment, but as a precautionary step to safeguard the integrity, dignity, and public confidence in the judiciary while the constitutional process runs its course. Mbenenge opposed the suspension, arguing that he is already on special leave approved by the Chief Justice and is therefore not carrying out any judicial duties. He also argued that his application to review the JSC's gross misconduct finding should be resolved before any suspension is considered. However, the JSC says its gross misconduct finding remains valid unless set aside by a court. The Commission's recommendation now goes to President Ramaphosa, who will decide whether to formally suspend Mbenenge pending the outcome of the parliamentary removal process. Anelita Fandese, Eyewitness News.
ATM MP Vuyo Zungula is adamant President Cyril Ramaphosa's interdict of the Section 89 impeachment inquiry can be challenged. Zungula has not given up on his legal fight for the Section 89 impeachment to continue its probe and has now approached the Constitutional Court for clarity. This follows Friday's Western Cape High Court decision to grant Ramaphosa's application to interdict the inquiry pending the review of the independent panel report which led to the impeachment proceedings. Babala Ndenza has more.
ATM MP Vuyo Zungula says they've filed an urgent direct appeal to the Constitutional Court to challenge the High Court's interim interdict. He says the High Court order effectively delays impeachment proceedings and delays the implementation of the Constitutional Court's directive in the Phala case. Zungula took to social media to say the order is appealable because it has a final effect on parliamentary processes. He says this is supported in the case of National Treasury versus the Organization Undoing Tax Abuse, which demonstrates that such interdicts can be set aside. Zungula was referring to the landmark ruling where the Constitutional Court overturned a High Court interim interdict that had temporarily halted the implementation of the Gauteng e-toll system. Zungula says currently there is no court hearing to determine the lawfulness of the order, which is binding in nature and creates a concerning precedent for executive accountability. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News.
And in Europe, firefighters are tackling major wildfires in France and Spain, with one blaze around 15 kilometers from the south of Bordeaux. A giant fire thunderstorm fueled by its own winds and lightning has been created in the Gironde region in France. More than 300,000 people have been evacuated across both countries, with many sleeping in sports halls or exhibition centers. Meanwhile, in Spain, Interior Minister Fernando Grande Marlasca says Madrid faces a decisive 2 days to control and contain wildfires that have forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate before temperatures rise on Wednesday, becoming highly unfavorable for firefighting efforts. At the same time, in Italy, more than 400 people were evacuated by sea yesterday as a wildfire swept through parts of the southern Adriatic coast, including the province of Puglia. A wildfire was also burning near Torretta outside Palermo on the island of Sicily yesterday. Gold's trading at $4,097.70 an ounce. The rand's at 16.71 to the dollar, at 22.25 to the pound, at 19.03 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at exactly $89 a barrel.
Expect delays in Germiston. That's on the N17 eastbound heading towards Boksburg, approaching Rondebold Road. In North Riding, traffic is a bit sluggish approaching the intersection of Malibongwe Drive and Witkoppen due to faulty traffic lights. And in Centurion, there's an accident seen on the N14 near Jean Avenue, causing heavy delays in both directions.
A look at your weather. It's clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon, with temperatures peaking at highs between 20 and 23 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The leadership of former IDEC head Andrea Johnson has been called into question with suggestions her investigators were conducting unauthorized probes.
EWN In Touch. in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 7:02 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Monday, the 27th of July. So it happened, the 7:02. Josie, my Josie, walked the talk. Firstly, thank you to all of you that came through. I got to meet some of you in person. To those that I didn't get to meet but were blowing kisses as I was broadcasting and throwing hugs, just love and light. It was such an exciting day, which also leads us to part of what we're going to be talking about this morning. So this afternoon rather. So if you want to reflect on Johannesburg, especially in a positive way, please do let us know what you love about the city, because I know we really speak about Johannesburg in terms of the challenges and what needs to be done, but there are things that are working and are great. So what are the things you'd like to celebrate about Johannesburg? And then an interesting conversation, and I want to hear from you. Do you have a childhood comfort that you've just never outgrown? A childhood thing. It can be a teddy bear, it can be a security blanket, it can be a meal, something that still brings you comfort. And tell us why it matters, why it's so important. I want to hear from you on that. Movies and What to Stream. Adelaide Moyeng joins us for that, who is the founder of Movies and Stuff SA, and you can find her on all the socials. Our travel feature for today, we're joined by Igor Mutelska, and we are talking about a winter getaway with a twist. Why Klein Kariba is the perfect winter destination. The second hour of the show, Parenting and Parents feature, we're talking about if you are able to heal by being the parent you needed. Can you heal by being the parent you needed? Anele Siswana joins us for that, clinical psychologist and traditional healer. And then The Naked Scientist with Dr. Chris Smith. We take all of your science-related questions for him in our Naked Scientist feature. So get in touch with us, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So we all have that one thing, right? It can be multiple things that we carry with us to comfort us. Some of you might even refer to it as like your lucky charm. Some people still have the teddy bear that they had when they were a kid. There's something about it. Some people refer to it as a nunu blanket, for example, but we will know it more as a security blanket. So something that a child or a toddler or a baby would like to touch or hold, that comforted them. It would help them fall asleep, it would, whatever the case may be. But there are adults that still have their nunu blankets, or you had a nunu blanket, whatever that nunu blanket was, and society shamed you into still having it. So I want to hear from all of you regarding that comfort item that you still have with you. You have not outgrown it. So actress Nicole Kidman was speaking to Zendaya, who's also an actress, and she was saying that you should keep and can be able to keep your childhood blankie until you're 85, because there's no medal for giving it up. You're not going to get a reward for giving up the thing that gives you comfort. And she goes on to say, I always say to kids, your comfort is your comfort. If you need to keep your blankie until you're 85, you keep your blankie, because there is no medal for giving that up. Who says that you have to be this sort of perfect grown-up? You're allowed to have these things. I saw a gent, I mean, I'm not saying necessarily this is his comfort blanket, but he had posted a video making a joke saying that Purity, you know, the formula, not the formula, the jars that come in like guava flavor and these other flavors. He says where it says 6 months and above, ne? He says he is in the above. So don't shame me for liking to eat Purity when I'm in my 20s. My producer today is making a face. Guys, I also used to enjoy still having Purity guava flavor. It's so nice. But for me, it wasn't security reasons. It just tasted good. So yes, I absolutely want to find out from all of you about that security blanket thing. And for some, it's a comfort food. For some, it is something else. But your Nunu blankets, your security thing that you've had since you were a kid, maybe you keep it in your handbag. Maybe it's something you keep in your wallet. And maybe it's not something you had from childhood, but represents your childhood. Mine are my late grandmother's tukus, right? So she had a lot of scarves. She never left the house with her hair uncovered. She barely even was in the house with her head uncovered, right? And when when my grandmother passed away, and even when she was alive, I enjoyed having her tukus with me because they made me feel close to her. And even now, there's not a single trip I go on abroad or just away from home without traveling with a tuku from my grandmother, which is my Nunu blanket. And at night, I wear it to sleep with, and I don't know, I just feel comforted, like she's still with me. That represents for me. I have not had Papa Kalebese in a very long time, pap and milk. That is something that definitely represents childhood comfort. I think also jungle oats. I'm not big on oats, but that represents motohwating. Yo, I can't even explain, but I want to hear from all of you. All of those things that you have that make you feel safe and secure, they're from your childhood or they represent your childhood. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The resignation of IDAC head Advocate Andrea Johnson, the president accepting that resignation. Dr. Ngaweni, this almost doesn't come as a surprise, really.
Well, it's not a surprise. It is good she has done it and the president has accepted. She was going to be suspended anyway. It was just a matter of time, given the revelations at the Mazanga Commission. Even though she has resigned, she will continue to testify.
What happens to her now? I mean, does she get a golden handshake and off to the sunset she goes?
There are no golden handshakes in government. There is no such a thing. She'll just get her normal pension like all other public servants. But as far as the sanctions are concerned, with all the complaints against her now, those complaints will be sustained because it doesn't mean that the case goes away merely because she's no longer in that position.
Right.
So there will be consequences.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
This past Sunday, tens of thousands of you showed up to walk with the people for our Josie in the 702 Josie, My Josie Walk the Talk. Thank you for taking the scenic route with us, creating unforgettable memories and showing the world that Joburg is more than just a city. It's a remarkable energy that connects us all. Here's to Joburg. Here's to us. Here's to 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
Drivers, winter fatigue creeps in faster than you think. That heater may keep you warm, but it can also make you drowsy. Crack a window. Take your rest breaks seriously. Stay fresh, stay focused, because when you're behind the wheel of a heavy vehicle, fatigue doesn't just risk your life, it risks everyone's. So stay alert, stay visible, and stay safe. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Transport.
So, the payments game has totally changed and businesses can now score with the new FNB Speedpoint range.
That's great news for business owners.
You get a low commission rate starting from 1.8% that drops to as low as 0.6% as your business grows.
I want to play for this winning team.
Get in the payments game with a bank that rewards your business for doing well. FNB, help changes everything. First National Bank, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com.
There's so much health information out there, but how do you know what to trust? Catch the Clement Manyatela show tomorrow at 9 a.m. for Health Matters by Cipla Africa, where we'll be unpacking important health conversations designed to help you better understand your body and well-being. Health Matters by Cipla Africa is a trusted hub bringing you expert-led health conversations you can trust. Then head to the Prime Media Plus app or primemediaplus.com. Scroll to Prime Media Highlights and watch the latest Health Matters video featuring leading experts and thought-provoking conversations. Or WhatsApp the keyword health to 072 702 1702 and we will send you the link to the content.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
19 minutes after 1 o'clock, you are sharing with us all of the messages, or rather the things that you have been collecting and keeping. Your comfort blankets, your security blankets, your Nunu blankets, anything that is a comfort, a childhood comfort that you just did not outgrow. I want to hear from all of you on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. And of course, on the back of the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, what do you love about our city? Let us take moments to celebrate. We know it's election time, meaning we're going to be having many, many conversations around the things not working that need to be fixed. So would love to hear from you on that. I actually want to start out with the messages that were coming through on our social media, and we're going to head over to Facebook first. Okay, while that is coming up, let's quickly look at the other messages on WhatsApp. I keep an old smashed up Pokemon card in my wallet for luck. Does it work? Only the card and the Almighty know. That is Chad. Chad, I feel like if you're keeping it, it is doing something. Even if the card doesn't, in inverted commas, work, it is doing something for you, and that's why it is there. And maybe it isn't necessarily luck, but comfort and confidence. Relebogile, my childhood comfort is my love for cartoons. I even get excited when all my childhood cartoons get turned into live actions. Things like Teen Titans, The Winx Club. I still watch Dragon Ball Z to date. These were so important to me because I was a lonely gay child growing up. I didn't want to go out to play with other kids out of fear of being teased. They would tease my voice, my mannerisms, everything. So the TV and all my favorite cartoons are my childhood comforts. My goodness. Thank you for sharing that. I can only imagine how many more children feel the same way. Maybe not in the exact same context, but where the childhood characters were their friends. Isn't that what Michael Jackson used to do? Is that he used to love the Disney characters? And, when he sings songs like Have You Seen My Childhood? And then you think about the fact that he never got an opportunity to be a kid. So watching cartoons was his comfort. Would love to hear from you. 011 883 0702. Your WhatsApp voice notes are coming through on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebogile. I was at the Walk the Talk yesterday and it was so fun. Even though I came alone and it was my first time, it was so lovely. I had fun definitely coming back next year. I'm recruiting though next year. And you know what? I saw you twice. I had just arrived and also as I was chilling by the grass, I was just way too shy to come ask for a picture, but it was really lovely. And I had just posted on my WhatsApp status that, you know what, 702 listeners, they sound exactly as they are in real life as well. They're lovely, cheeky, and very fun. And very fun, even in real life, just like they sound on radio. So very fun, lovely, had fun, and definitely doing again. And I enjoyed Joburg. I haven't been there ever since. I don't know how long, but yeah, it was just great being on the ground and just seeing it, experiencing taxi drivers and all. But it was a lovely, 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 lovely time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for also, I think that message is also for the people who said to themselves, I really want to go to the Walk the Talk, but I have no one to go with. Guys, you can go alone. You will meet people when you are there. Somebody went alone, even though she says she's recruiting, it is doable. If people can't join you, go, man, meet people, find people. It was such a vibe. More of your voice notes.
Hey, Relay. I actually had this doll, right? I call it Tinky. It's a doll I used to play with when I was in like grade 2. And sometime in high school, my grandmother threw it away. By the way, I'm 34 this year. Sometime in high school, my grandmother threw away my Tinky doll. And to this day, I have not gotten over losing that doll. There are times where I think about that doll and I get so hurt that my grandmother threw away my doll. And I loved that doll. That doll was my favorite doll. I used to make clothes for that doll. And I have no idea. Like, they didn't tell me why they threw away my Tinky doll. And I've not gotten over losing that doll because sometimes when I think about it, it breaks my heart that I don't have my Tinky doll.
Girl. Oh, can we just have a moment, guys, for the dolls that were thrown away that became our friends? Can we just have a moment? You are actually, and thank you so much for that message of what you are sharing. They probably gave the doll away and told themselves, you're grown now, you don't need this toy. That's what I suspect happened. I still need to know, guys, I had a doll who was taller than me when I was around 5, 6, 7. And her name was Sintaulele. Yo! Sinta! They took you from me. Guys, Sinta went through everything. I still remember a day where my cousins and I were trying to figure out how to do her hair. If you're wondering, where did you get a life-size black doll when you were it wasn't a black doll, but it was Sintaulele. And I very vividly remember us putting Vaseline in the hair to try and comb it and style it. Oh, those dolls, man.
Hi everyone, love listening to your show every day. The one thing that I will never ever let go, and I sleep with it every single night or day. Whether it's hot or whether it's cold, I have it by my side. That's my baby boy's blanket. He passed away at the end of 2024, and I will never ever let it go.
I'm so sorry for the loss of your child. I am so sorry. And mom, keep that blanket till forever. Put it in your will that the blanket must be with you. I cannot even imagine the grief, but keeping your child's blanket sounds like such a perfect comfort, especially if it still smells like your baby. Oh man, sending you so much love.
Good afternoon, Relebogile, to you and to your listeners. Regarding the issue of Nunu blankets, I'm 42 years old, but I still have a bed, like a small bed that my grandmother gave me while I'm still young, but she passed away. And that bed is still there in my bedroom. Like when I go home, I have a big bed, 8 pillow, and that stylish one. But when I go there, when I sleep there on that bed, man, I feel like no, I'm a new me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I still have that thing, and and it's still comforting me, even though I still have that. It is a small bed, like I slept with it. I'm still young. Thanks to pressure level, it's Donald here. I'm in Tembisa.
Thank you so much, Donald. I'm sure you have the best sleep if you get to still have your childhood bed. Yo, some of you guys are have no idea how wealthy you are to still have the things you have from childhood. There are people whose homes burned down. They don't even have childhood photos, hey? So for you to have a blankie, even your childhood bed, yo, what a blessing. Mpumi in Kwatema, how are you, Mpumi?
Yeah, it was me who was calling you yesterday again. I'm just calling
Oh,
back home.
girl, listen, we love us, our regulars, girl. You know we sisters now. We sisters now. What's your comfort?
Yes. No, but for me it's a meal. Hey, my mom, and for her, she doesn't want to eat it anymore. But for me, it's cabbage and pap. Like that woman used to. But for her, like she grew up with that no meat, what. But the cabbage, when she did it, it was so. All the time I cook it. It's such a comfort. I just go back and I'm back home.
I have to ask, did you actually find the way to cook it perfectly? Because I feel like when we cook our childhood meals for ourselves, it don't hit the same, girl. It don't hit the same.
No, she taught me like spinzy, like cabbage, like in a swenka way. We do it traditional.
Yes.
We cut it like this.
Yes.
We put beef stock. Like it's a meal. Like it's not a salad. Like it's a meal. Yes. So she did it like that. So it was pap and cabbage. Different ways. She could add carrots. She could add this and add this. I was like, oh, cabbage, not a salad, not a coleslaw. Proper meal.
I'm with you there. You're making me think about the cabbage my grandmother used to. You're making us hungry. Thank you so much, Mpumi. Cabbage and pap, guys. Can you imagine? Wasn't it Tyler who was sharing how, when she's traveling and she just misses home food? Do not take for granted having access to all of your childhood comforts, folks. Do not. Whether it is your photographs, your memories, your blankies, you still have your bed. If your childhood home is still standing and you have access to it, do you know how blessed you are? Relebogile, yesterday, I saw my own sister and other sisters and brothers walking and talking around the buzzy Joburg. Made me realize South Africans have a soul and a big heart. It doesn't matter what challenges we face. We have got each other. We can build this city together and make it great, safe, and prosperous. And I have to be honest, guys, the biggest moment for me yesterday was when the national anthem played before the 5K, because I missed it before the 8K. And the crowd was there getting ready to walk. The anthem started. The pride, guys, there I was. Eddie Blow. Yes, it's 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile.
Were you singing?
Good afternoon.
Were you singing?
No.
Hey, babes, because I was there. Got Eddie Blow. I was there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. The leadership of former IDAC head Andrea Johnson has been called into question with suggestions her investigators were conducting unauthorized probes. Today, President Cyril Ramaphosa accepted Johnson's resignation as the head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, bringing her 4-year reign at the helm to a dramatic end. Despite having stepped down from IDAC, Johnson is still testifying at the Commission today about her tenure and the unit's investigations into senior crime intelligence officers. The matter involving Bafana Mahungela, accused of killing Delta Park school teacher Kristen Clates in 2023, has once again been postponed. Mahungela faces 3 charges including murder, kidnapping and robbery with aggravating circumstances. He's pleaded not guilty to allegations that he murdered and robbed Clates of her valuables during a park run in Parkmore in Sandton nearly 3 years ago. And in Central Africa, Chad has announced that it plans to withdraw from the International Criminal Court. In a statement released today, a government spokesperson said its effectiveness was limited and uneven. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 2 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
In Germiston, heading towards Boksburg, traffic remains a bit sluggish. This is on the N17 eastbound approaching Rondebolt. In North Riding, there's also slow-moving traffic. This is approaching the intersection of Malibongwe Drive and Witkoppen. If you're driving through Dobsonville, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on Elias Mutwaleri between Main Reef Road and Temba Hospital. And in Centurion, we still have that accident scene on the N14 near Jean Avenue, causing heavy delays in both directions. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Andrea Johnson is continuing with her testimony at the Madlanga Commission this morning as the now former head of IDEC following her resignation. Johnson sent a letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the National Director of Public Prosecutions boss, Andy Mutibi, requesting to step down. Ramaphosa confirmed this morning that he's accepted her resignation with immediate effect. Justice Minister Mamluku Kobai says Johnson will be entitled to her pension according to the country's labor laws.
When a person resigns, that's the end between the relationship between the employer and employee.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Be in it to win it with Hollywood Bets and Playtech. 1.5 million rand in cash and a Hafal Jolion Pro are up for grabs. Bet 2 rand or more on slots, 10 rand or more on crash, and 50 rand or more on live casino games. Slots such as Mega Fireblaze light up the reels. Cash it and kick it make multiplier magic while adventures in Wonderland Live bring fantasy to life in live casino. Competition runs until 31 July. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
In the 1960s, Douglas Engelbart had a thought. What if you could jump from one idea to another with just a click? That question led him to pioneer how hypertext would work. And this laid the foundation of how we navigate the internet today. See, whether you're reinventing the future or building something new, you need the right foundations to start. At Exnilo, we give you the right foundation to host your big idea. Exnilo, trusted in hosting.
Elevate your flying experience with Lift Premium. Enjoy even more space, comfort, and convenience with priority boarding, extra baggage allowance, and complimentary lounge access. Visit lift.co.za today.
Today, standing out in the job market is more important than ever. Postnet and Huru are here to help you succeed. Did you know that many organizations require a criminal record check before hiring? From educators to retailers, drivers to lawyers and more, Postnet has you covered. From just 335 Rand, add a Huru criminal record check to your CV and stand out from the crowd. Visit your nearest Postnet today. Postnet, helping you succeed.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Foot and mouth has been a huge issue for cattle, as we know. Does it affect pigs in the same way? Is it as difficult to control foot and mouth for pigs?
We deemed it to be more difficult to transmit to pigs. I think given the viral load that we've seen over the last couple of months, it did unfortunately spread into piggeries as well.
Dr. Marlene Lowe, Chief Executive Officer of the SA Pork.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa Corporate and Investment Banking. Africa's energy future takes more than ambition. It takes turning plans into projects, opportunity into investment, intent into execution. At Absa Corporate and Investment Banking, we help connect the capital, expertise, and opportunity needed to bring sustainable projects to life across Africa. That's how we're invested in Africa's energy future.
702 Movies.
23 minutes to 2 o'clock. Movies and what to stream time with Adelaide Moyeng. Follow her on the socials, Movies and Stuff SA. What would you like to recommend for us to watch or to not even bother with? Old or new, any genre? 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Adelaide, I was just telling you off air about how I'm full on back in my crime documentary era. So it's so funny because I think my algorithm of all my streaming platforms are either like kiddies movies or crime.
There's no in between.
No, there's no in except
no
okay.
Nix.
We've even wiped out the algorithm here because you watch The Polygamist. It's gone.
No.
It's gone, babes. It's gone, and it's fine. This is the era I'm in. It's just trying to understand human behavior and the human brain and some of the crazy things that happen. But let's kick off with Law and Order Toronto.
Yeah.
Hey, the franchise that keeps on franchising.
Yo, I don't know what they did to cement the success of the show, but whatever it is, I need them to share the secret for the rest of us, because Law and Order is an international franchise that we're all very familiar with. But this time around, Law and Order Toronto Criminal Intent is now on our South African screens. And guess who?
What does criminal intent mean? Does it mean that all the cases were intentional?
No.
I say culpable.
all crimes are alleged until proven innocent or guilty.
Okay, I always just get fascinated, and then just help me. Is Law and Order the same one where Ice-T, is it? Not Ice-T. Who's the other rapper guy? Not Ice Cube. What's that rap? Coco's husband.
I love
Guys, oh my gosh. I know someone's listening wanting to hit the radio. But is that also Law and Order?
No, I don't think so.
What is his?
I forgot which one. I think his is it will come to me.
Okay, tell us about Law and Order Toronto. I'm going to find these answers.
It will come to me. But yes, and I love them together. Is it not Ice-T and Coco?
It is. Okay, someone's telling me it's Ice-T
and Coco. Yes,
but
I love them together, but I don't think they are on the same thing. But it's a good question, and I need to actually think about that too.
Okay, I'll tell you. He's on Law and Order Special Investigation Victims Unit.
Yes,
that's
different
the one.
versions.
SVU.
Yes.
Okay,
but
thank
when
you.
people break it down like that, I forget that it's actually Law and Order, and I just think of the SVU part, but I don't know what that actually means.
Sorry, guys, I'm 40. This is my new sentence. Sorry, I'm 40.
I just say I'm just a girl. It gets me out of everything. I just go, I'm just a girl. I don't know what else to tell you.
So these crimes are Toronto crimes.
The crimes of Toronto. And I was actually able to interview one of the actors that's a lead in Law and Order Toronto. It's Kathleen Monroe, and she actually plays Frankie Bateman. And we asked her just one question about what she thinks about being on Law and Order.
I wanted to ask you, from an actor's perspective, did you have any challenges with some of the stories that you're tackling? I mean, I think with the genre of crime, as much as, the stories are quite entertaining, some of these things do happen in real life. So did you find that there were some stories that internally were a bit difficult for you to get through? Was there ever a difficult episode that you felt like, oh, the story is actually affecting me, but I'm going to try and push through?
Okay, Adelaide, I just want to tell you, so we're shooting season 4 right now, and no one's ever asked me that, and it's such an important question. It's such a beautiful question, because it is like, I have been surprised sometimes, because I think, Law and Order is so exciting. There's all that, the dun-dun, the title cards in the city of Toronto, all of this stuff that we love so much. And sometimes I remember there was one episode in the first season, and I don't believe it's aired yet, so I'm not going to say any spoilers, but it's coming up. And we get into some tough, there were a couple in the first season, some tough stuff with some young women, and or some things about the sort of societal conditions that lead people to crime, that
Yes.
your heart just kind of breaks, especially because these are inspired by real things. And, all the fun of it, all the play of it, we're really dealing with life and death. And as the actor at the center of that process for myself, the answer is yes. There are some that, in fact, we're shooting one right now where I'm just kind of like, woo, got to come home and do like a little bit of grounding, a little bit of centering, because, there are real human consequences to these things, and dealing in, even if it's just looking at the files, looking at the photos that we have in our crime scenes, and thinking like, wow, like to not be desensitized to it, I think is really important.
Yeah, so
Firstly, well done.
Thank
Listen,
you.
the interviews are getting interviewing your and I am loving it for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great conversation, and I'll be posting the rest of that interview on Movies and Stuff essay on the socials, guys. Hey, internationally.
International. Let's
Ah.
talk Blackburn's Fast.
Yes, Blackburn's Fast is a film that a lot of people are talking about. It has done really, really well internationally already, and it's actually a coming of age story. It's coming out on the 31st of July. That's Friday, and it's actually a coming of age story, fully South African, but also it tackles a young student, Lutando, who's got a scholarship, right, at this prestigious boarding school. But she actually is experiencing her first love crush. She doesn't quite know. But what I find so interesting about it as well is the way that they go about coming of age stories. Lately, thank God for the way a cinema is going in the direction of uniquely told stories about teenagers and coming of age stories. And this is one of those stories. They talk a lot about identity, belonging, self-discovery, and, even trying to figure yourself out when you're a teenager of what direction you even want to go to in life. And so the story is very important. It's like I said, also being led by 6 different South African actors, all local, all young,
Yeah.
up and coming, fresh, never seen faces. I always love when we get introduced to brand new people as well. So this film is coming out on Friday. Please make sure that you go and support your local films, guys. If we don't do it, then the cinema will die. So we need to make sure that we support.
And I'm so happy that you are sharing this film in particular. I just forwarded you something because I had received it from the team, and I said I'm gonna share with all the industry people, and it was already on your agenda. So yes, let us support local films as much as we can. Blackburn's Fast. Now let's talk Spider-Man Brand New Day. I've really lost track. I don't know which Spider-Man it is. I don't know. Are they brothers? Then I saw one where there's one in black and one in red. Like, guys. I am so lost in what's happening with
I need
Spider-Man.
to have a breakdown for you as well.
I think I'm okay. Hey, I'll just that one where they kissed upside down with Kirsten Dunst was enough for me.
Are you still on Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man? Oh,
Why
no,
did
you're
you
behind.
need another one?
You're behind,
No,
ma'am.
guys.
You are so behind.
Then there's Venom. Then there's
it's
much.
a whole universe
No,
all on
guys,
its own.
It's too much.
And you know how
It's
many
too
people
much.
have been waiting for Spider-Man Brand New Day? There is somebody. In fact, the tickets. There's a countdown on the tickets going live right now on the website. That's how highly anticipated Spider-Man Brand New Day is. For those who are interested.
There's even Spider-Man Legos. I'm like, it's just for me.
Or even Spider Noir, which has gotten such amazing critiques from
Is
the
that the black
cinematography. That's the black and white one.
Because
there's a whole universe.
Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst,
That's
enough.
it. That's where you stop.
Moving.
But Spider-Man Brand New Day, though, has Tom Holland. This is the Tom Holland Spider-Man. And Tom Holland is on a good streak. Like I said the other day, he's given us Odyssey and he's got Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's obviously starring Zendaya as well, that we all know from Euphoria and Odyssey. And so this just follows the events from Spider-Man No Way Home, where the world no longer knows his true identity. So in that last Spider-Man, his identity is completely wiped from everybody that knows about him on Earth. Nobody knows. So Peter Parker is now having to take on this new role, or being a full-time Spider-Man actually, as the hero of New York City, but also having to navigate now not being known by anybody whatsoever. Like, everybody's memory of him has been completely wiped. So now he's entering
I wish
this
my
new
memory of
thing.
him could be wiped.
Not of him. Not of him. I thought you said just memory in general. No, I'm excited for brand new day, guys.
The memory of Spider-Man. So I can get excited with you guys.
And I'll just tell you that there's others, then we'll just keep going. But also, I think it's very ironic that Comic-Con America had a lot of announcements this weekend, and Brand New Day is also coming out. By the way, the new Black Panther has been announced. Oh my goodness.
Saw that.
Oh my good. I screamed. And also Ryan Gosling is going to be Ghost Rider. I need to do like a rundown for everybody. It's so exciting news.
Can we just maybe say, maybe we need to dedicate one episode per month just to Marvel?
Yes, I agree.
No, not for me. I'm doing you Marvel people a favor.
Yes.
I always just watch Marvel by default. But Black Panther, I will be behind. Okay, we have to quickly talk Tuna.
Yes, okay, Tuna's the last one. Tuna is actually led by Leo Woodall, and we know him from Bridget Jones, as well as he's also being joined by Dustin Hoffman. Wow, amazing stuff. I actually love him from Rain Man, as well as Tootsie, for those who, like their 90s and 80s movies. I love Tootsie. Every now and again, I do watch Tootsie. Very great film that you should get into. But anyway, Tuna is actually a crime thriller, and it's about a talented piano tuner with a rare hearing condition, right? But he's actually thrown in the world of crime and heists with his unique talent. He can tune and listen into pianos, so maybe he can also crack safes. And so this is where he now gets into being in between the crime world and also just trying to be a guy, trying to make money, trying to survive, really. But the critique so far has been so good. It's gotten a 94 rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's actually made the top 10 list for 2025's Toronto Film Festival of the best films to come out from last year. So the fact that it came out last year and it's now going to hit cinemas as well should give us a really good rundown of the fact that, yes, distribution-wise, it buckled, but now it's actually getting the shine that it deserves. It's a really, really great film to get into. If you like unique stories that have never been told, this is something that I think people will definitely love.
So I have homework for you.
Yes.
The homework is, you know how the IMAX theaters, there's so few in the world?
Yes.
And secondly, they are booked up until towards the end of August.
Yes.
I need you to explain to everybody why it is such a thing. Because I was even looking at the fact that Christopher Nolan, for the film, he forced the musicians to actually learn to play those indigenous instruments to recreate.
Yes.
And I think there's a lack of appreciation of why is it that 90% of people will not even watch the film properly because they didn't watch it in an IMAX.
Yes.
So that's the homework for you for next week,
Got
so that we
it.
can have a true appreciation.
Sure.
It's not like about a pixel count or whatever.
Yes.
There's something very, very specific.
There is.
And
Yes,
I
there
think
is.
as lay folks, and I include myself in this, you just think, well, bigger screen, better
No,
sound.
there's actual reasons to
Yes.
it. I even asked some people on the night of the premiere, I actually asked an interesting question where I said, what film do you wish you could rewatch in IMAX form? Where they could resize it for IMAX that you'd be able to rewatch again. Because there's so many films that have actually missed out on being shot entirely in IMAX. So this, like I said, because Odyssey is so special, it's the first of its kind, I always think and wonder, what's one film that I wish they could just resize for IMAX and I can watch it in its full wonder? I think one of the films I would love to see is The Prestige from Christopher Nolan. I feel like that's one of the films that people slept and did not give enough attention to, but definitely I will do my
homework done.
Yes.
And guys, when we're not on air and you see something, you want to share a review, 702 afternoons at 702.co.za.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Why was IDEC and the police minister's office so desperate to have the head of crime intelligence, Dumisani Khumalo, charged and hopefully removed from office afterwards? Why were they so desperate to go after them to the point that they even act unethically, to the point that IDEC even violates the NPA Act? What were they trying to stop? Because clearly, the head of crime intelligence, General Dumisani Khumalo, was onto something. The question is, what exactly? What? was General Khumalo onto that Andre Johnson was trying to stop together with the office of the police minister? That's the question I'm really asking.
Clements Manyatela.
9 to 12 on 702.
What happens if an attorney steals money you've entrusted to them, and who protects you? Find out on Aubrey Masango's Law feature, where Dr. Mokatsi Molefe, CEO of the Legal Practitioners Fidelity Fund, will join 702 to unpack the fund's role, who it protects, when you can claim, and why every South African should know about it. Don't miss this informative conversation this Tuesday on the Aubrey Masango Show from 8 p.m.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za. Because we're your number one choice. Home in One has it all.
What is your business here?
You didn't start your business to play it safe. You took the leap, made the bold move, and now it's time to make the next one. This week, 702 and Budget Business Insurance are giving small businesses the chance to win their share of 100,000 Rand with the Budget BizBucks Bonanza. Enter on primemediaplus.com. Tell us about the boldest move you've ever made in your business and what your next one will be. Then get an obligation-free Budget Business Insurance quote. 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa could call you. Budget Insurance is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's apply.
702.
Travel.
6 minutes to 2 o'clock. In our travel feature for today, we chat to Iga Mutelska, a winter getaway with a twist, and why the Klein Kariba is the perfect winter destination. 011 8830702, the WhatsApp line 072702 on 702. Iga, you don't have to tell me anything. When are we leaving and what am I packing?
So I just got back. I went with one of my best friends and her kiddies. Swimming cozies are definitely top of the list, running shoes or active wear. But I must say, I always thought of like water sort of swimming destinations as a place to go in the summertime. But in actual fact, 80 kV Klein Kariba Resort, just outside of Bella Bella, really flips that switch. It's tucked away into a dramatic 600-hectare mountain gorge in the Waterberg. So it's only a 90-minute drive, or about 150 kilometers from Joburg and Pretoria, straight along the N1, which means that getting out of the city is really so quick and simple to get out into the Limpopo bushveld. And it's really great for a day trip because it's so close. We went away for a long weekend for 3 days. But if someone wants to go for a day trip, it's only 125 Rand per adult or 95 Rand for kiddies. But of course, during peak season, they cap, the capacity because they want to keep the resort peaceful. So you do need to pre-book day passes online ahead of time. But while it's really beautiful in summer, winter in the Bushveld really does have its own sort of distinct appeal. With crisp, clear skies, it was really nice to get away from the smog of the city. And of course, Klein Kariba sits on thermal springs. So they've got indoor and outdoor heated and non-heated swimming pools, and they stay open until 10 p.m. So we floated under the stars, it was cold out. We could see the steam rising from the pools, but it was really quite something. And of course, they have a variety of free roaming antelope and game at the resort as well. They've got zebras and impalas, blue wildebeest. We also saw some monkeys and baboons and banded mongoose, flitting about and running about. And of course, because there's a riverine vegetation and forest there with the dam and the cliff gorges, there are also about 250 bird species there too. So if you're a birder, you definitely need to take your binos along as well.
So I have to say, in case somebody missed it, when you said 80 kV, I know it as the Arctic of Fear, because there's a festival that happens there. The Arctic of Fear.
Right.
But yes, so just in case somebody's listening and they missed that.
Sorry.
So what is there to do?
Thank you so much.
What is there to do on site for the whole family?
So obviously it's self-contained, so you really don't need to leave the property at all. And then standard admission gets you access to the heated and cold pools. Of course, there's kiddies splash pools. There's mini golf and putt-putt, so we tried that. Dads, of course, or moms can also try the nine-hole golf courses. We also played a little bit of paddle, and there are 3 marked hiking trails around the gorge, and they range from 1.5 kilometers to 8 kilometers, so really depending on what someone prefers. But there are also paid outdoor sports and activities that you can do. The kiddies went and did an 8-cable zipline tour up through the mountain cliffs. There's horseback riding, quad biking, fishing on the dam as well. You can also rent one of those paddle boats, the pedal ones that I really like. There's kayaks and SUPs as well that you can take out onto the water. We, of course, play paddle as well, which sits just along the river. And there's a full restaurant. There's a fully stocked convenience shop for groceries or anything you might have forgotten, like a swimming cozy or a towel or your drying equipment. And of course, a full service beauty spa. The moms or us, the ladies, we decided to treat ourselves to that. And they've got a really lovely, good winter massage special on at the moment as well.
Okay, the Arctic of Fear resorts are famous for entertainment lineups and things like that during the school holidays. What can families expect from the holiday programs at Klein Kariba?
Yeah, so because we were there just towards the end of the school holidays, we saw that throughout the day they had so many things planned throughout the mornings, afternoons, and in the evenings as well. So in the mornings, of course, they've got things like poolside dance sessions, swimming competitions, face painting. They even did like little mini treasure hunts for kids. There was target practice shooting and art workshops. Naturally, of course, in the afternoon, they also do a variety of like organized volleyball tournaments. At the beach court, you can do a putt-putt challenge, paddle matches, the works. And then, of course, after sunset, there's live music performances by various guests who come in from around the area and around the country. They do outdoor movie screenings, braai competitions for the dads, and of course, starlit swimming in the heated pools. You couldn't grab me out of that pool. I just wanted to spend the whole day in that pool. And it's so lovely because I never thought of it, to go there in winter. You always think, oh, you should go in summer when it's warm. But in actual fact, the heated pools are really lovely.
And I mean, there's so many options of accommodation from your caravan and camping sites. And if the Klein Kariba happens to be fully booked, people can still go and experience the heated pools. There's so much that you can do. Head over to eagerjourneys.com where you can find out more of Iga and her travels. In the next hour of the show, Parenting and Parents, can you heal by being the parent that you needed? And The Naked Scientist. It's 2:00.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Maki Molapo. The leadership of former IDAC head Andrea Johnson has been called into question with suggestions her investigators were conducting unauthorized probes. Today, President Cyril Ramaphosa accepted Johnson's resignation as the head of the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption, bringing her 4-year reign at the helm to a dramatic end. Despite having stepped down from IDAC, Johnson is still testifying at the Commission today about her tenure and the unit's investigations into senior crime intelligence officers. Tabiso Goba has more.
In December 2024, as the head of IDAC, Andrea Johnson signed off on a prosecution memo authorizing the investigations into 11 senior crime intelligence officers for fraud and corruption. In that memo, there was a line saying the investigation also extends to individuals or entities currently unknown and may be known in the future. Co-Commissioner Sibaloi says the line gives IDAC investigators latitude to investigate any person with or without justification.
It was not the intention, but I do take
But it is the effect.
It in all likelihood is the effect, and I take the point. And just for reassurance, Mr. Botlani is not in 3.13.
Yeah, we don't know who else Mr. Colonel Pareachi included in there, but he may well, and you have no control over that. You have no way of knowing. And I say Colonel Pareachi not to target him specifically, all your investigators. They may well be conducting investigations of individuals that are not authorized by you.
Johnson has resigned as the head of IDAC. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
We move to the courts where the murder case of Delta Park school teacher Kristen Clates has once again been postponed after the defense abandoned an expert witness's testimony. Bafana Mahungela pleaded not guilty to allegations that he murdered and robbed Clates of her valuables during a park run in Parkmore in Sandton in 2023. He faces 3 charges, including murder, kidnapping and robbery with aggravating circumstances. Proceedings resumed after the matter had initially been postponed to allow the defense to clarify whether an expert witness would testify. Today, the court heard that the witness's evidence would no longer be required. When asked by Judge Ian Cox whether the defense was abandoning the witness's evidence, Mahungela confirmed the witness would not testify.
So are you then foregoing his evidence, so he's not going to testify in these proceedings? Is that also correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Can he be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you sure?
Yes, Your Honor.
Meanwhile, the court also postponed the hearing into a medical report that's the subject of a court order to Wednesday for further trial proceedings linked to it. Staying in the courts, the defense has attacked the credibility of the state witness's identification of accused number 1, Musa Kekana, during a trial within a trial in the case against alleged crime kingpin Vusmusi Ket Matlala and 4 co-accused. Private Security Officer Christian Shepherd was confronted with what the defense described as material omissions in his evidence after he previously told the Johannesburg High Court he identified Kekana by his distinctive mustard-coloured top. Under cross-examination, Shepherd added that he'd also recognized Kekana by his bulky build and facial features, despite not including those details in the 2 statements he made to police on the day of the arrest. Dimakazo Leshoro has more.
Defense counsel advocate Rian Kheseng put it to Shepherd that his 2 statements to police contained no description of the driver's face or any other unique characteristics other than a mustard-colored top. The defense further put it to the witness that the only logical inference was that he never saw the driver's face and had identified the occupant solely by his clothing. Shepherd rejected the suggestion, insisting he did see the driver's face and that the omission of those descriptive details from his statement was an oversight.
Just because I don't mention it doesn't mean that is not the case.
When pressed on why he failed to record the facial features in his contemporaneous statement, this is what he says.
I accidentally left it out.
The cross-examination forms part of an interlocutory application to determine whether evidence arising from Kekana's arrest should be admitted in the main trial. The defense has indicated that Kekana denies he was the driver of the Hyundai i20 and maintains he was at his residence at the time. Dimakato Leshoro, Eyewitness News at the Johannesburg High Court.
And in Central Africa, Chad has announced that it plans to withdraw from the International Criminal Court. In a statement released today, a government spokesperson said its effectiveness was limited and uneven. The spokesperson says the decision is the result of an in-depth review of the functioning of the ICC since it began operating in 2002, as well as its record, whose effectiveness remains limited and uneven across different regions. Gold's trading at $4,097.55 an ounce. The rand's at 16.73 to the dollar, at 22.28 to the pound, at 19.06 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $89.47 a barrel.
Centurion, we still have that accident seen on the N14 northbound near Jean Avenue, causing heavy delays in both directions. In Germiston heading towards Brakpan, expect some delays on the N17 eastbound. This is heading towards Rondebold Road. And in Krugersdorp, Zandspruit area, roadwork slowing down traffic on Beyers Nordier between Nooitgedacht Road and Peter Road.
A look at your weather. It's clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 20 and 23 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The leadership of former IDAC head Andrea Johnson has been called into question with suggestions her investigators were conducting unauthorized probes.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. We're going to be jumping into our parenting and parents feature, talking about whether you're able to heal by being the parent that you needed. And I'd love to hear from all of you on your experiences. Anele Siswana will join us for that conversation. Clinical psychologist and traditional healer. And then the naked scientist, Dr. Chris, joins us. And chats to us by answering all of your science-related questions. So get in touch. 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Live.
Your afternoon radio
On 702 Afternoons.
with Relebogile Mabotja.
Our parenting and parents feature guest is running slightly late, but no worries. This is a live broadcast. We still want to hear from all of you about what it is you love about our city, Johannesburg, because there are amazing things about our city. But also, those of you that were with us at the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, how did you find the experience? 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Hey, Relebogile. I had the privilege of taking my boys with me on the 5 kilometer walk, the talk. And I have to say that what stood out for me the most was how incredible the staff from PROSA was. From arriving at the Gautrain station to getting to Park Station to getting onto the trains and back. I mean, I just have to commend them. I don't know if this was a PR stunt or if they had like special people or if this is how PROSA operates now. It's been a while. However, it was such an incredible, wonderful, happy, professional and friendly experience. And then, of course, we loved speaking to Joe on the app to find out all the details. We only managed to find 3 of those on the route, the 5 kilometer route, but even my boys loved learning about the little places that were on the Hello Joe posters. Anyway, thank you for a lovely, lovely day, and looking forward to doing it again.
Thank you so much, folks. 0727021702. This is one of my favorite things about Johannesburg, even though she's not a Josie person. One of the things she has done, like she lives in Joburg now, she's not originally from Johannesburg, but she represents for me culture. She represents energy, vibes. When you think about Yeovil back in the days, when you think about Joburg CBD back in the days, where bits of her career started. Absolutely love her. Take a listen.
The world changes, revolutionaries die, and the children forget. The ghetto is our first love, and our dreams are drenched in gold. We don't even cry. We don't even cry about it no more. Are the beautiful ones really dead?
Thandiswa mazwai nizalwa ngobani, which we know, man, our girl, one of my favorite things about Johannesburg. A Thandiswa mazwai. When we come back, parenting and parents feature, can you heal by being the parent that you needed?
We're giving you millions of reasons to celebrate with our selection of Lucky Millions lotto draws. You could claim major jackpots when you pick numbers from thousands of daily draws. Choose numbers on UK 49s, Euro Millions, and lots more from just R5 per line. Enjoy more chances and more ways to win, all in one place. Grab your chance to celebrate extraordinary riches when you play Lucky Millions from Hollywood Bets. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Chamberlain is now in the 4th generation and at 10 locations throughout Gauteng, with a new branch in the East Rand in September. Our differentiator is our long-serving and loyal staff, available and knowledgeable. Can we help you? Big on stock, strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Meet the all-new Lepus L6, an aspirational lifestyle sub-brand of the Cherry Group. A spacious, intuitive cabin that moves with you. 6 striking colors, a panoramic sunroof, and an advanced 540-degree HD surround view camera system. With a 10-year, 1 million kilometer engine guarantee, pre-orders are open now. Be among the first. Book your test drive or visit lepus-sa.co.za today. Lepus. Drive your elegance.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
Joburg, get ready for the hottest music festival of the year. Scatterling's Music Festival, featuring Zex Bantwini, Java, Sanal Musician, Jay Something, Msaki, Jesse Clegg, Simi, Trezor, Sminofu, and more, all on one stage. Scatterling's Music Festival, Huddle Park, Johannesburg. 1 August, 1 day. Back-to-back hits. Tickets on sale at webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by 702.
Parenting and parents
on 702.
19 minutes after 2 o'clock in our parenting and parents feature for today, we're talking about healing. Are you able to heal yourself by being the parent that you needed and being the parent you needed to yourself, not necessarily becoming a parent to another child? We're joined by Anele Siswana, clinical psychologist and traditional healer. And of course, if we go over, we will pick it up in a part 2.
Certainly.
011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 0727021702. Anele, welcome. Thank you so much for coming through. Please do share with us, when you say being the parent you needed, what exactly does that mean?
This means starting from a place of unmet needs, right?
Ooh.
An unmet need that any infant, if you're talking what we call psychodynamic therapy that looks at the relationship between the object and the one that takes care of the object, or kind of dynamics between the object and the one that is around that. So what it means basically, in a situation of an infant needs an object, and that object could be a parent, could be a grandmother, could be anyone. In this case, it means the object is likely that the object was unavailable, or the object did not provide the needs of the infant when the infant needed everything to be provided for. In simple terms, it means this person has never had a solid object that would be there for their needs psychologically, physical needs. So it means that this person then now negotiates life consciously and unconsciously without this object that should have provided the need for what this then person will grow up to be an adult as. It then means that if you look at the metaphor of the infant finds its own resources for regulation and provision of needs, which then means as an adult, this person would negotiate ways in which today's topic makes sense for that person, because it then means this person has done so much work in providing for every need that they needed. For the most part, they are trying to meet the demands of their unmet needs that were never met at the time when they needed the object present.
So what then is the difference between coping mechanisms and meeting unfulfilled needs? And can we give an example of something very real that a person, so let's say a person feels they have abandonment issues and they can trace back to where that comes from. So let's say the dad was not interested in, they know their dad is alive, but the dad has never had interest. So there's constantly that feeling of something. And maybe share so that listeners can connect dots of how would it manifest as an adult that you would even know you need to reparent certain parts of yourself. Because some people's coping mechanisms of, well, the solution is don't expect anything from anybody. It can be hyperdependence, but to them it looks like something positive because I don't need nobody.
I think in this case, what looks accessible is a reality that you understand. First, it starts from awareness. You wouldn't just generally know that I have to reparent myself if you don't have a sense of awareness.
Sorry, you need to repeat that again because I think that's such a powerful thing.
Be able to know what you don't have until you recognize it, that it's not there. Ideally, we know consciously my father has not been there. And then you can negotiate around that. Then if you move deeper, it is then what kind of need would you have needed from a present father? Then that's the awareness that now perhaps I needed a paternal presence that will help me navigate life in a particular way.
But can I ask a question now from the layperson's perspective? Because already you are saying you need to have awareness of self. Great. But what you might experience, so let's assume, because a lot of these issues manifest in romantic relationships, where you will start to be like, why do I feel like this when this happens?
That's the awareness.
Yes, okay. It's the asking of the why.
The asking of the why and actually realizing I'm actually asking this need from a wrong object.
Oh, okay. But before you get to the wrong object, how would you have even known, ne? And unless somebody told you and made you aware. So let's say you are expecting your partner to solve whatever this internal thing is. But in your brain as an adult, you think it's normal. You are my love, Anele, so you're supposed to complete me. Unless somebody outside of you says, actually, what you're doing is not normal. The expectation you have of this person is not normal. Maybe there's something deeper. Because the self-awareness sometimes won't come from self. It would come from somebody else pointing it out.
What you're actually saying to me, often psychological unmet needs are very unconscious. So you would need to have somewhat been in therapy to understand that my request for because romantically, we have desires that can be romantic, but you can be able to track now if this need, what I'm actually asking from my partner, it's actually a parental desire, not necessarily that which partners should provide. The only thing I can do as a partner...
A parental desire.
It's a parental desire stemming from an unmet needs, right? And then we assume that those unmet needs will be provided for by the relationship. But the nature and the definition of that relationship, we are couples. The nature of a parent... you know better, right? As being a mom, you know when your child needs something and you are physically present consciously and in many ways that you are able to provide that need for your son. Now, for someone who has no recognition unconsciously, they will then ask things that will look like a burden on the other person, where you have partners or kind of get feedback that says, I'm not your parent. What that person is actually saying, what you are requesting from me, I hear it, I see it, but I don't have the capacity that would have been provided by the object you needed for me to be able to love you in the way that you want to be loved. And perhaps your desire to be
Yes.
loved the way you want to be loved, that's not the kind of relationship that we have, because ours is romantic.
So, I mean, I know I'm going to open a bit of a can of worms with what I'm going
Right.
to ask next, but I'm already committing, looking at the clock, that we will revisit this conversation. Is we already know that generally individuals are attracted to one another based on their unmet needs. Now, if you haven't started to do the work or the research or the whatevers, you won't necessarily be able to recognize it in yourself, even though you understand it theoretically. Hence, they say women go out and date their fathers and men go out and date their mothers. And we know that that conversation can be twofold. Date their mothers, where now the man is like, but my mom used to make mutoho like this, I want it like this, but my mom, blah, blah, blah. Or the part of the father possibly being, but I'm not going to, I'm going to change my own tire because my dad was never there and it was unstable, so let me just change my own tire. We know that it can manifest in multiple different ways. But we also know that not many people are at that level that you are speaking. Hence, I'm trying to bring it down even further. So if two individuals come together, not even aware, because maybe they didn't have a certain parental love, that it even existed, come in together, and then we call it toxic. How do we even start to unpack something where, if you're not in therapy, if you're not in couples counseling, if you're not doing the questioning, if you have not had a certain thing from a parent, how would you know you have a need that's unmet? Because maybe you're 30 and you're still alive, so clearly I didn't need it.
Perhaps you're not in love but attached. If you are attached, you'll be attached to the need and not love the person. Genuine love, I just love you as the way you are. But attachment, you cling and hold on to an unmet need. And unconsciously, we are likely in romantic relationships to be more on the spectrum of attachment rather than falling in love genuinely, because the attachment has some things that feed into our unmet needs. And ideally, this is where projections come, because a projection is something that you're really struggling with, but you place it as a function for the other to actually either recognize it or to give you. But reality is, for as long as your unmet need is so loud and not healed, and not to say that you're blaming your parent, for as long as you feel it and you see the dynamics of it playing out in your friendships, in your work context, because it's not only in romantic relationships that our unmet needs play out. You see people playing out certain behaviors and expressing certain needs because they just want to be seen.
Like in your business, maybe
In
you're
your
not
business,
chasing
you see
properly
someone
with
performing in a
invoices.
particular way at work or doing something. It's just that everyone negotiate for a need that at the end of the day they want it satisfied. And I think the key thing around reparenting or parenting yourself it's reimagining how would I have wanted the object to be as present I wanted it to be. And if it has been absent for the longest of time, ideally you're going to attract absence, because that's what your brain is used to.
And I think the difficult part is the realization that it is your own responsibility to do that. Hence, we're talking about parenting needs, not finding a partner that's going to meet certain
Unfortunately,
needs.
the default is we always find or look for a partner that's going to provide that need. And for as long as you understand the patterns and the repetition of what comes out, take that as feedback of what you need to work on. This is where therapy is important, that individuals get to see and encounter that little child and work with that little child, feed that little child to the point where you understand when is this need so violent that it screams and throws tantrums, and you realize that if these tantrums are causing detriment into my relationship, then it's high time to realize that beyond the relationship, you have so much work to do with self.
Yeah, we're going to have to pick this up again in another parenting and parents feature, and we will delve into how to reparent self, how to recognize what needs are reasonable versus unmet parental needs. And Anele, thank you so much. We will pick it up in the next one. It's just after 2:30 time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. A shareholder meeting intended to address the leadership crisis at the Public Investment Corporation will no longer go ahead. Instead, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is expected to submit a list of nominees for a new PIC board for Cabinet's consideration at its meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday. Godongwana's scheduled meeting has been cancelled following the resignation of several non-executive directors from the PIC board. In the capital, a senior investigator at IDAC has been accused by two of his colleagues of fabricating witness statements. Dylan Perumal from the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption is now at the center of a serious probe at the Madlanga Commission. Two of his colleagues have submitted voice notes to the Commission disavowing statements Perumal allegedly took in their presence. And the Southern African Development Community has taken another step towards deeper regional financial integration. The Angolan Kwanza has officially been introduced as a settlement currency in the SADC real-time gross settlement system, marking the first new currency to join the platform since it launched more than a decade ago. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 3 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're traveling through Krugersdorp, Reimsig area, there's roadwork slowing down traffic on Beyers Noordea between Nooitgedacht Road and Peter Road. Also, if you are in Germiston heading towards Brakpan, slow-moving traffic N17 eastbound approaching Rondebold Road. There's faulty traffic lights in Sharon Lee, Malibongo Drive and President Fushia. Traffic lights still not working in Woodmead at Woodmead Drive and Woodlands. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Vandalism and theft of water infrastructure affects everyone. Damage to pipes, meters, valves, reservoirs, and other critical infrastructure can result in water outages, low pressure, sewer spillages, and costly repairs that impact communities across Johannesburg. Johannesburg Water urges residents to help protect public infrastructure by reporting suspicious activity affecting the water network. To report incidents or water-related faults, call Johannesburg Water on 010-061-4470. That's 010-061-4470. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water.
Oh, the shelf was leaning sideways, the tap was dripping slow. I said, relax, I've got this, I know just where to go. I went to the crazy store, a screwdriver's all I need. Somehow I left with so much more, a torch, a broom, a book to read.
That's crazy, crazy, that's the crazy store. Went in for one small thing, came out with so much more.
The crazy store. Hey, you never know what you might find.
Find your next design obsession at Decorex Joburg. From the 30th of July to the 2nd of August, the Sandton Convention Centre becomes the destination for the latest in decor and design. Explore over 450 exhibitors across 5 levels, inspiring talks and live demos, plus the property show by Private Property. Download the Decorex app and plan your visit today. Decorex Joburg, 30th July to 2nd August. Tickets at decorex.co.za and at the door.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 with 7. Let's try that again. 7:02 Drive with John Perlman is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. John, I'm not used to working on a Sunday broadcasting.
No, okay, it's Monday.
So it's Monday, so I was tripping over my words there. Did you have a fabulous time on Sunday?
Yeah,
And I didn't see
it
you.
just so exceeded my expectations. It was just breathtaking. I really enjoyed every single minute of it, and yeah, just appreciate everyone who came.
So one of the questions I was asking all of the listeners for today was, what do you actually love about Johannesburg? Because I know when we speak about the city, it's often about all the negative things. And so many people were sharing what it was like on the walk, the things that they saw. One of the guests I spoke to was sharing how that they walked past the Carlton hotel where she got married.
Yeah.
And I was like, such beautiful memories, and there's so much to be excited about with Johannesburg. Is there something specifically you love about Johannesburg?
So I'd say two things. I mean, the one is actually at walking speed. I realized how many beautiful buildings there are there. Some of them are in great shape, some aren't. But, I've always liked the architecture of the city. It's not necessarily one of the things it's famous for. So there would be that.
Mm.
And then away from the walk, but just Joburg in general, I love the light in the city.
Yeah.
I like it in the morning. I'm always up very early, so I tend to see the sun coming up. And I love it in the evening, especially as we get into summer. And when I step out, it's still light. Obviously, it isn't now. So the buildings and the light and the people.
buildings
How's
and
that?
the lights and the people. All right, what's coming up on your show today?
So good afternoon, everybody, and thanks again for joining us on Sunday. We now have a national water action plan. Some might say another plan. Well, the other point you can make is that there was a plan to deal with the electricity, and that hasn't gone badly eventually. We'll talk to the DG of Water and Sanitation, Dr. Sean Phillips, after 5. Is this a plan that's going to get off paper and into the pipes? We hope so, but we'll talk to him in more detail about how exactly that's going to be done. A lot of people who weren't in Joburg over the weekend might have driven home quite late on Sunday night, as people do, trying to max time with family and stretch the weekend. People would have done the same on Friday evening. New study about the risks of driving at night. We thought of doing it on Friday. We thought, let's do it when everyone's safely home, Don't want to give people bad vibes
Good
as
call.
they set off. So we're going to talk about that and look at the details of that study at 10 to 4. We'll chat to Pizzo Musimane. He's just published a book, a coaching manual for youth football, but obviously there's extensive conversation about him as a possible Bafana coach. He joins us at 10 to 5. Really looking forward to catching up with him.
All right, 7:02 Drive with John Perlman coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
The Naked Scientist.
21 minutes to 3 o'clock, time for the Naked Scientist. Get in touch with us on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Dr. Chris Smith, happy Monday. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm very good. Thank you very much. How about yourself?
I am doing very, very well, and I'm excited to ask you a question. Earlier on, we were chatting in our parenting and parents feature around reparenting oneself. And one of the parts of the conversation led to the part of unmet needs, to which our clinical psychologist was sharing that sometimes you think you are in love or you love somebody now as it's manifesting within your romantic relationship, when other times it's an attachment. Is there any sort of science or research that has been done where it can show in the brain the difference between what love is and what an attachment is, or a trauma bond, or anything that love is not?
That's an interesting question. I haven't been asked that before, and I never really thought about it in those terms, because I've always sort of regarded love as a special relationship between close individuals, but other people can have a strong bond and not necessarily be in love, can't they? If we think about what happens to make a bond between, say, a mother and a baby, or between two couples, in fact, unromantically, you can distill this down to neurochemistry and what the brain is doing. And this has been studied in quite a lot of detail. There is a chemical in the brain called oxytocin, which is produced by your pituitary gland, and it comes out from the back part of the pituitary in response to a couple of things. One of them is when there is stimulation to the nipple, when a baby first starts to suckle. And this has two effects. One, it causes blood vessels to constrict. It also produces sensations of pleasure, and it acts in the brain to effectively create a powerful association or bond with that baby. So, what many people argue is that when a baby's first born, this reflex, the breast milk letdown reflex, occurs because the mum or the midwife or whoever puts the baby straight to the breast. The baby suckles. That's good for the baby. It needs fluid, it needs nutrition. But it also triggers this reflex in the mum's brain that releases oxytocin. The oxytocin goes into the brain and triggers a bond to the baby, but also it goes around the mum's bloodstream, goes to the uterus and makes the uterus contract, which reduces the risk of any blood loss. And so it has this double whammy beneficial effect. So what's the other example of this happening? Well, when a person has a sexual climax, an orgasm, you also produce a lot of oxytocin in the brain. And so the same mechanism that bonds a mum to a newborn also bonds a couple together who have sex together and share climaxes together. So effectively, you're using the same wiring, the same neurochemistry to create a bond that's long-term, long-lasting. And we also know that oxytocin drives an experience or a perception of trust between individuals. And you can do experiments where you can expose a person artificially to oxytocin, and then you can gauge the trustworthiness or their view of the trustworthiness of a third party, and it goes up in the presence of oxytocin. So when we're talking about attachments and bonds and being in love, I think all these things all center on this set of pathways in the brain that are linking your pleasure center, your emotional centers, and this important neurochemical oxytocin.
Ooh, you always have an answer, though. Even though no one's ever asked you, Dr. Chris, you always have an answer.
Well, look, in science is all about questions, and a lot of the aspect and the practice of science is taking what we do know and coming up with hypotheses to test what we might want to know or how we think things are working, or building things up from first principles. Now, biology is a bit harder to do that with than, say, physics, where there are rules of physics that are immutable across the universe, and so what works here works on Mars and it works in the Andromeda galaxy. Not the same for biology, but many of the principles are the same. And so you can take what we do know and say, well, how should this apply speculatively under these circumstances? And so that's what you're sort of asking me to do, and that's my speculation.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Doctor. A question says, afternoon, Dr. Relebogile. What animal is the fearless honey badger scared of? That's from Holla in Kempton Park. I'm so curious as to where that question came from.
Yeah, where
what
did it come
National
from? Well,
Geographic show were you watching?
Well, in my experience, they're not even scared of us, are they? Because I mean, I was on a safari in Zambia, and I got woken up every single night, and I thought someone was raiding our camp. And one of the guides said, "No, no, just the honey badgers. They've discovered where the kitchen is. They've discovered where the food is locked up in a locked cupboard, and they are quite good at getting at it. And so they were making a hell of a ruckus trying to get through a metal door to get at the food. So they're not even scared of us. They're not scared of a noise." So I don't know what preys on a honey badger, but they're pretty fearsome, aren't they? I mean, they're quite well armed, these things, and they're strong. So I think they haven't got much to fear from many things, to be perfectly honest. But I tell you what, I will go and look at what picks on honey badgers, and I'll bring the information back next week.
I would be fascinated to find out that if it has predators but is not afraid, like, is there such a thing as a mammal that has no fear, even though it's got protective mechanisms built within it?
I think all animals have the ability to feel fear. And the reason I'm doing what I said at the top of the show again, but the reason is that their brains are like our brains. They have a structure in the brain which is a fear center, which, when activated, will elicit sensations of alarm and defensive maneuvers. Now, when you activate our amygdala, which is in our temporal lobe on each side of the brain, it makes us feel anxious, nervous, scared, panicky. And also, it activates the fight or flight reaction. It makes all your hairs stand on end. It makes your pupils open up. It makes your blood pressure go up. It makes your heart race. It basically gets you ready to fight someone or run away from them. And many animals, in fact, all animals that I know of, have the same sort of overall broad brain structure that we do. They have this structure, and I think it will do broadly similar things in them. So I think every animal has the ability, because we, at the end of the day, have evolved from simpler animals to have the brain structure we do. So I think it's very likely that we inherit our ability to feel fear and alarm and perceive risk and threat and react to it in the way we do from our animal ancestors and relatives. And so all animals have this ability because it's how they make sure they don't turn into someone else's lunch, and that they also protect their young.
I love how you explain things. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Alistair, I see you and I see your questions coming through. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Dad, how come Mom's not coming to my soccer game?
Well, Mom isn't allowed to come to your soccer games anymore.
Is it because she tried to tackle Coach KB for giving me a red card?
Maybe.
Humans who fiercely protect the people they love. Welcome. Search Liberty Protect to protect your life and legacy today. Liberty, in it with you, all of you. Liberty Group Limited, a licensed life insurer, an authorized FSP, and part of the Standard Bank Group. T's and C's, risks and limitations apply.
This past Sunday, tens of thousands showed up to walk with the people for our Josie. In the 702 Josie, My Josie Walk the Talk, thank you for taking the scenic route with us, creating unforgettable memories and showing the world that Joburg is more than just a city. It's a remarkable energy that connects us all. Don't worry if you missed out. Head over to our socials and you'll be able to see videos and pictures and vibes. Also search the hashtag. Here's to Joburg. Here's to us. Here's to 702 Josie, My Josie Walk the Talk, Babize Bonke, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. More on primemediaplus.com.
Your boss noticed. Your ex noticed. The neighbors definitely noticed. Because some cars say, I rented a car. And some cars say, I rented the car. Sani Sixt Rent a Car. Premium rentals. For people who don't settle. Choose the right car. Rent Sani Sixt on sani.co.za.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic's early spring season features world-class international conductors and soloists performing with our finest musicians. The program includes favorites by Tchaikovsky, Mozart, and more. Thursday evenings at the Linda Auditorium from 13 August to 3 September at 7:30 p.m. Tickets available at Quicket.
702.
The Naked Scientist.
12 minutes to 3 o'clock. We continue with the Naked Scientist. 011 883 0702. The WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We go to the lines. Alistair in Lyndhurst. Go ahead, Alistair.
Dr. Chris, can you explain to me, if you've got a racing car going around the track at 400 kilometers an hour, how do those pistons fire so rapidly? In other words, they become like machine gun bullets to the top of the cylinder and back again to combust. How does it do it so smoothly without any mishaps at a high speed and it indefinitely you could go on?
Yeah, I know, it's amazing, isn't it? When you think how incredible these engines are, because these engines tuned up for racing are doing that at 10,000 RPM.
But even a normal
Yep.
car.
Yeah, in your normal petrol engine, they're going a lot faster than a diesel engine, which revs much lower, usually up to about 3 or 4,000 revs a minute. But yes, the way this is done is with very careful machining and balance. So if you think about what's going on in an engine, it's a block of metal and it has a number of cylinders, commonly 4. Some engines have more. The cylinder, each one, has a piston in it. The piston is a round shape, which has got rings that seal it inside that hole in the block. And the piston has coming out of the bottom of it what's called a conrod. The conrod is articulated on the piston, so it can swing backwards and forwards. And it goes down to a shaft that runs the full width or length of the engine, which is called the crankshaft. And the conrod is attached via a very special clamp and a set of bearings onto that. And as the crankshaft goes round, because the engine's going round, because the crankshaft is eccentric, in other words, it's not just a round shaft, it's a shaft where it's got one bit is up in the air and the one next door is down below. As it turns round, it means the piston goes up and down because the conrod flexes backwards or swings backwards and forwards to accommodate the side-to-side movement. This is very carefully machined to make sure, and it's all supported by bearings, that it runs very smoothly with very low resistance, and that this can happen without any kind of the piston hitting the top of the engine or hitting the bottom of the engine. You then do that for each of the pistons, and they're all set up so that they are going up and down at different times. And most engines have a firing sequence of something like cylinder 1 fires, then cylinder 3 and 4 fire, and then it comes back and number 2 fires, 1, 3, 4, 2. It's quite a common firing sequence. And what they do is that balances the forces inside the engine and on the crankshaft so that you don't get massive resonances and vibration, so that as one thing's firing, something else is relaxing and exhausting and so on. And that gives you the smoothest run. And with good oils to lubricate everything, because it's so low resistance and so carefully balanced, when new and not worn out, it will run incredibly fast with very low losses and tolerate very high rates of RPM.
Thank you so much, Alistair, for your question. We then go to Kabelo from Pretoria. Go ahead, Kabelo.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. The question that I always wanted to ask Dr. Chris is that were humans designed in codes, were they meant to consume meat? Because when you look at our teeth, they are not as sharp as those animals that eat meat. And then we are the only animals that have to cook meat before we can consume it. So were we designed to eat it or not?
I'll be curious to know, Kabelo, are you a vegetarian or you are a meat lover?
No, I'm an omnivore. I consume everything.
You are an omnivore. You eat all. You eat all. Okay.
The answer to this, you're quite right to look at the teeth, because at the end of the day, teeth evolve to serve a purpose, which is not just defense, but also to make calories available from what we eat. And if you look at the structure and shape of teeth, that gives you a clue as to what an animal spends its time eating. An elephant's teeth are set up as enormous, great crushing stones like millstones to grind up very tough plant material and liberate tiny numbers of calories from large amounts of plant material. So they're set up to grind stuff up. A cow's teeth are set up with lots of ridges of harder enamel and valleys of softer dentine. Horses are the same, and they grind against each other to smash up grass so that they can initially break the grass down to make it easy to swallow, and then when they chew the cud, grind away at the cud, which is the fermenting grass from their stomach, so that they can liberate more calories and also feed that soup to bacteria, which then nourish the cow. The cow eats bacteria. It doesn't eat grass. It feeds bacteria grass, and then the bacteria make the calories for the cow. In us, our ancestors, if you go back 6 million years or so, that was the last time we shared an ancestor with a chimpanzee, for example. Animals that eat a lot of plant matter, like other primates and so on, have teeth of a very specific shape and size, and they are clearly well adapted to eating a lot of plant matter. And our fossil ancestors, if we go back in time to Australopiths, for example, South Africa very famous for having an extremely rich fossil record of this aspect of human and early human and human ancestor evolution. They also have teeth which are set up to clearly derive a lot of calories from plants. But our lineage, Homo, comes along a few million years ago, maybe 2 million years ago, begins to come in, and you see the teeth are clearly different, demonstrably different from these Australopiths. And the teeth are smaller, and they're clearly adapted to not just eat plant things, but to eat a range of things. And so it looks like even from the very earliest times, we were eating a balanced and varied diet, which wasn't just plant dominated and wasn't just meat dominated. We didn't have teeth that looked like a big cat or a dog, and we didn't have teeth that looked just like a gorilla. So we were clearly deriving calories from a range of different sources. And therefore, it's reasonable to assume that our biology and our evolution since has been along the lines of catering for a mixed diet. And therefore, we regard the human diet as appropriately, or most appropriately, an omnivorous one, a bit like you're saying, where you eat a bit of everything, but you don't have to eat just one thing.
Thank you so much for that question. We go to Rueda in Ondakers Park. Go ahead, Rueda.
Hi, good afternoon, doctor. Bone marrow cancer. Why are there absolutely almost no symptoms in the patient? Only a few weeks the patient dies, and when they do the test, then thereafter they find out it's bone marrow cancer. Is this the only cancer that sneaks up on the patients?
Hi, Roweda. I'm sorry if this has affected you personally or someone close to you. And you're quite right to say that this does tend to present late, but it's not the only cancer that does. There are other cancers and malignancies that present late. And for example, pancreatic cancer is a classic one. And usually these sorts of cancers that present late because they can get quite advanced before they compromise a major system that gives the game away. Now, with the bone marrow, inside your long bones, like your thigh bones or your upper arm bones or your pelvis, sternum, you have a cavity. And the bone in there looks spongy when you cut through the bone and look at it. And in that spongy cavity, which you see when you get bones from the butcher's shop, it's the marrow cavity, it's rammed full of stem cells. These are called hematopoietic stem cells. They are stem cells that, unlike a skin stem cell that would make skin, these stem cells make the blood cells. These include the red blood cells that carry oxygen around the body, the white blood cells, the lymphocytes that fight infection, and also you have platelets, the megakaryocytes that make platelets that help blood to clot. These are right through the bone marrow, and there are huge populations of them. And you don't generally have problems until you lose a significant proportion of them. So the cancer, which starts as an abnormal group of these stem cells proliferating out of control, can actually get quite advanced through the bone marrow before it's pushed out enough of the healthy cells and stops them doing their job adequately. And that then leads to not enough red blood cells, that's anemia, or too many white blood cells, and that makes the blood sticky and can cause problems. So in other words, you don't tend to see problems until the cancer's quite far advanced. But that doesn't mean it's game over, because hematologists these days are amazing doctors and they can do wonderful things. We've got drugs that very quickly will get rid of a lot of these cancer cells, and we can even use radiation to just zap the cancer cells. The key thing is giving a person back healthy stem cells that can repopulate the bone marrow and provide for that person the right elements that the blood needs. And that can sometimes be the problem. And also people can sometimes get very nasty infection, because when the bone marrow gets taken over in this way, the immune system goes off kilter for a while, and that can leave the person open to all kinds of nasty infections. And sometimes it's that claims their life rather than the underlying bone marrow cancer. But if that can be surmounted and a donor can be found, a person with the right bone marrow features that match the genetics of the person affected, then you can blitz the unhealthy bone marrow. You can put in stem cells collected from another person. They will naturally find their way back to the bone marrow and reproduce a new bone marrow that's healthy for that person. And it saves enormous numbers of lives all around the world every single year. It's amazing technology.
Thank you so much. We're going to have to leave it there. Dr. Chris Smith, back together next week.
In case you're on the highway, driving to your first big maize delivery, and something mysterious happens. You stop at the garage to scope the damage. You realize the fuel system is kinda dear my car. You panic. But then you take a deep breath, because you know Hino Care Gap Cover is there to cover anything outside the standard 6-year warranty. From steering columns to ABS control modules, it's the unseen essential in your business. Speak to your Hino dealer. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
If you have an unresolved dispute involving your bank, insurer, pension fund, or financial advisor, you can complain to a financial ombud for free. South Africa's financial ombud system, overseen by the Ombud Council, provides free, fair, and impartial dispute resolution. Whether it's through the National Financial Ombud, the Phase Ombud, or the Pension Funds Adjudicator, help is available. Visit ombudcouncil.org.za for more info.
You're up before everyone else. You're building something real. Absa Business Banking, powered by Visa, gives you everything you need to get going. Open a business account in 10 minutes. Buy a point-of-sale device for $799 and get a credit card all in one place. We get it. Running a business is hard. Your banking shouldn't be. Search Business Starter Pack. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers 2 options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual action soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple action pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
Andalex, a proud sponsor of The Masked Singer Season 3.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons. It's 1 minute after 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Finance Minister cancels PIC shareholder meeting and Angolan Kwanzaa joins SADC's payment system. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. A shareholder meeting intended to address the leadership crisis at the Public Investment Corporation will no longer go ahead. Instead, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is expected to